Hello, my curious souls. Welcome in or welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your time and energy with me today. My name is Amanda, and today we have a collective reading, and it will be a mystery collective reading. So I do not know what messages are going to come forth. We are going to allow Spirit to come through and share whatever messages need to be shared at this time. If you are new to my general tarot readings, know that not all messages will resonate, so please take only that which does resonate, that feels aligning, inspiring, or confirming for you, and kindly leave the rest behind for someone else. Also use your discernment when it comes to making decisions based on your personal situation, your limitations, and or means. And this reading will be timeless. Whenever you come across it, there will be something here to help align you to your highest good. So the card that came out was See How Far You've Come. I think this is an acknowledgement of something that you've overcome in the recent past, something that maybe you're currently traversing or moving through. I feel like you might be on the other side of this challenge or change, or you are seeing glimmers of hope. I feel like you have moved mountains, or you have gone above and beyond. You have put in a lot of work. You have really done the work, done your due diligence, have gone through a lot of different emotional landscapes, spiritual landscapes, metaphorical landscapes in order for you to find yourself in ease or at peace. Now, if you're not seeing yourself in that peace or ease at this moment, and you are currently moving through this challenge, then there could be some messages in here for you. But let's get into a couple more oracle cards, and then we will pull tarot cards to see what else wants to come through. So a couple of oracle cards, too many. What would like to come through in regards to See How Far You've Come? What is this about? More details, please. More details. Strongest. I want ones that flip on the table or flip completely over. Like that. We won't take that one because it hasn't flipped over. So we have Honor Your Inner Knowing. So maybe you already know what stage of this journey you're at, where you are along this. Maybe you have used your intuition to move through this. Maybe your intuition is being strengthened during this challenge and change. This is a connection point between you and your innermost feelings, your innermost desires, your higher self, your higher being, your higher power, your higher knowledge. And you wouldn't necessarily have been able to tap into this without some level of pressure, without some level of discomfort. This is how you seek the light, is when you have no other choice. So there is no way around the mountain. There is only through and up and over. And you have to move through all of the landscapes, all of the terrain, all of the weather, using that inner knowing to know when to rest, when to forge ahead, when to set up shop, is what I'm hearing. When to call things home and when to continue on, when to start, when to stop. And I feel like you are navigating by the heart, by the intuition, rather than by any kind of logic, any kind of rule book, any kind of shoulds, or what others have told you is the path. This is your path. There's no other road that has been paved for you. And maybe you have moved on a paved road up until this point. And maybe the road stopped, or maybe there was an impasse. So you had no other choice but to hike these mountaintops, to move through the terrain, the valleys, the hills, the ups, the downs. This could have something to do with your health as well. So you might be moving through something physically, mentally, or emotionally in relation to your health. And that has been quite challenging for you. Broken arrow, embrace the energy of peace. Okay, so the peace factor is coming in a little bit, and I feel that there is some level of peace coming through in regards to your situation. But I feel your flow is interrupted. With the broken arrow, this makes me feel like something was broken or something ended, maybe abruptly, and you weren't able to go towards your goal or find a solution in a very direct way. You had to go up and over these mountains in order to find some level of answers or some level of peace. And it's been a long journey. Whatever it is, it's been a long journey. So I want to know more. I want to know more. We're going to get a couple more oracle cards. What is this? Medicine Mother. Honor your inner knowing. Ego. Okay. So ego isn't a bad thing. It is how we identify ourselves. The only time ego is bad is when it overtakes, when it overpowers our decisions, when it is above all else that exists. So I feel you might have even had some kind of ego death, where your ego wasn't able to drive the bus through this. It's like you had to tap into a more compassionate self, a more empathetic self, a more self-loving self. And in that process, maybe even some questions came up. The ego eventually died to some degree. And you, rather than looked to the external for validation and confirmation and accolades and rewards, you then came home to yourself. Maybe that's what this is all about. Medicine to heal thyself. Medicine to soothe the ego. Medicine to define yourself. And this medicine was the journey that you've recently gone on. Too many? What is this broken arrow? What is this broken arrow? Thank you. Closure. So whatever this was that maybe you were challenged by, or maybe whatever was broken, I think this was a level of closure that was unexpected, that may even have fed into your ego. The paved path maybe gave you a false sense of security, or a false sense of self, a false sense of success. And so this is an energy of, again, really following your heart home, of connecting in with that intuition to find closure on an old chapter, on an old you, on an old story or belief. Maybe some limitation, something that was broken or disconnected. It's like you lost your sense of direction, but that's because you healed in some capacity here. This was part of your healing. This was closing out something, giving closure to something, or maybe even finding comfort in not getting closure. Because when this arrow is broken, it can't make it to that destination. It just breaks, it cracks. It loses its ability to aim to a specific point. And so it ends, or it even never gets started. So maybe that is what you're experiencing, is maybe a closure on the ego that may have been running the show up until a certain point in your life. You went through some sort of darkness that forced you to start trusting yourself a little more, honoring your needs and your limits a little more, defining your path, your own path forward, and putting closure to things that were broken and could never get put back together. 2 more cards, please, Spirit, to clarify. What is this message? Okay. Sort of strong energies, but also a little bit hesitant as well. Okay. So we have the Empress. We have the Magician in reverse. And we have the Ace of Cups. So in order for you to see the growth that you wanted to see in your life, you needed to move through a blockage that made you think that you didn't have what it took to forge your own path, to clear your own way, to understand that you knew more than you gave yourself credit for. And because of that blockage, not only have you come so far from where you've started, there's a certain level of healing that happened. I feel like there's a new feeling of love for self, for where you are, for others. There's a new opportunity to feel differently about your progress and process. There's a certain appreciation for this journey. There's a certain appreciation for an experience, and maybe even an acceptance of the fact that this was for a higher reason. And I don't use that term lightly, because I understand that there are some situations where it wasn't meant to be. There is no reason. It's just a crappy experience, or a traumatic experience, or a painful experience that you did not wish upon yourself. It simply just was. So I'm going to exclude that from this statement. So the Ace of Cups can be an overflowing of emotion, of really starting this journey of fulfillment, starting the journey of the heart. And maybe that's what this is about, is that you nurturing yourself, nurturing your inner knowing, of having patience in this process as you move through all of the landscapes that you needed to move through in order to see that growth. You have lifted some kind of blockage, some kind of illusion maybe, that you weren't able to achieve this, when actual fact you have and you are. And I feel this closure. You're closing something out, but you're also starting something new. A new era of sensitivity, a new era of compassion and empathy, a new era of love for life, for self, for others. An open-heartedness and a vulnerability to explore everything that makes you feel cared for and loved and worthy. You could be receiving some offers of love as well. If you are single and looking for love, this healing could have officially put a close on your single self. And that's only for those who are looking for love. But if you are consciously wanting to stay single and be single, then I feel this is you offering more of that love to yourself, of stepping into the practice of self-love, approaching self-love as a job to care for and meet your emotional needs. Knowing that self-love is not just a feeling, it is an action and an approach. So there's a lot of kind of accepting energy here, along with the vulnerability. There's a refreshing start, a renewal. And what I love to the similarities is that this is water, a flowing water, letting things flow. I feel you're stepping into this flow now that you've removed this block of not feeling like you can create the life that you'd like or manifest the things that you want. Whatever lied in the ego, it might have been keeping you safe and small, which is not necessarily a bad thing. There's a time and a place for that. But when it becomes habit, or when it becomes an overinflated ego that then tells us, no, we can't get out of our comfort zone, or no, we can't get that job because we're not good enough. It tells us stories to keep us safe, to keep us unseen. And that could have been the block. It's like a dam being opened. You have unblocked the dam, healing the ego, mothering the inner child, mothering the part of you that needed it the most, has taken you quite a long ways and has closed out some kind of chapter for you. I feel like you're seeing things differently. You're feeling things differently. And you're opening up to new opportunities and possibilities. So this is what I have for you, my dear collective. If you'd like to dive deeper with a personal reading, the link to book 1 is in the description box. And with gratitude, I'm sending you all my love, and we'll see you in your next reading.